Good morning. This is Morning Digest Wednesday edition. I'm your host Moses Muiruri, and today is going to be another day. We are here with a great, panel. We are going to be talking about, the topics that are going on, the agendas that are on, but we also want you to be part of it. So with your phone, you know the drill. Let's pick the link is already out on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you have not liked our pages on YouTube, Facebook, on X, and even on Instagram, please do so that you can get the prompts immediately. So it's already out. I have sent it to, good. Send it to your friends, send it on all your platforms, and we shall be able to build a conversation so that we can create a conversation that is meaningful. Remember that this is your show and you are part of it, so please make sure that you get in touch. We will be answering anything you want us to answer. I have a great panel. All my guests are in the house. We start with the ladies. Yeah. Wacera is in the house. Eric is in the house. This is Elevate.
Yes.
This is our humble abode.
Pleasure to be here. It's great to be here.
All right, look at our camera, Wacera, and I just introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Wacera Thande. I wear many hats, but I'm a trained social worker and a social development practitioner, and I'm a podcaster as well, and I like to call myself a lifelong student. Wow. Yes, and I'm happy to be here. Big
profile. Eric?
Eric Muriithi is my name. I'm a software engineer. I'm an educator. I'm a social entrepreneur. I build websites and apps for individuals and businesses. I also train people. I teach people how to code. And then I also run a few, I have a social enterprise where we're incubating tech talent in underserved communities. So thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah, karibu. You are a very popular guy. Somebody saw the flyer and said, there's Eric.
Really?
Eric.
Interesting.
So, when I grow up, I want to be popular.
Be popular for the right reasons.
For the right
reasons.
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Well, we need to kill an elephant in the room.
Yes.
We have a conversation that is running.
Yes.
We have what we have. It started small, but I tell you what, it was a cost worth. And today, I was watching a parliamentary proceeding yesterday in Ghana. They were telling MPs, please behave. These people will beat you like Kenya. But we are not beating anyone.
No, of course not.
It's
I'm
wrong.
joking.
It's wrong. I agree. Nobody is beating anyone.
Yeah.
It's just basically people are concerned about their lives. People are concerned about the goings on. The leadership and also the governance. And that's why we are saying, something has to be happening.
Yeah.
And you are on the front line.
Yeah, 100%.
Do we start with Wacera? Just put in your voice in it.
Well, one thing I'll say is it's about accountability. It's not really, I don't know, there's this trope that people are saying, Gen Zs are just out here being explosive, but it's genuinely about accountability and the integrity of our leaders and governance in this country. As we like to say, the finance bill it was the thread that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things that have been building up to get us to this point. From being made fun of by MPs on social media who buy cars and then they dance in front of them. Well, me, myself, I'm highly trained, I'm highly skilled, but I don't have a job. To seeing people, unconstitutional offices being set up and millions of Kenya shillings being given to those people.
Yeah.
So these protests aren't just people acting out. It's about accountability and integrity at the heart of it. Yes.
And I think it's true because you see, when people are not accountable and they don't, and I think structures of accountability are there but are not being.
They're disregarded.
Yeah,
They're disregarded. And so the picture we have for you, Eric, the picture you've had, you've grown up seeing this picture, some of us, one time a child was telling the dad, me, I'm going to read, yes, but me, I know, if I just get a tender. Can you imagine a child in standard 4 is telling the dad, if I get a tender, I'll sort our lives out.
Yeah, and just to build up on what Wacera said, you want to build a society, you want to live in a society that rewards merit. You don't live in a society that, bureaucracy is the name of the game,
and
right?
Nepotism
and connection and all of that. You want to build a society that, look, if I work hard, if I apply myself to school, if I apply myself to career, if I apply myself to business, there is hope and light at the end of the tunnel. So, yeah, the Ghanaians are very right. If they're not careful,
guys will rise.
The young people will rise. I think this week, this month, the last couple of weeks, I've been very proud to be a Gen Z.
Yeah.
I think just like she said also, a lot of people, look down on us, and they have this conception that Gen Zs are this, Gen Zs are that, throwing names here and there, but
labels that we don't even give ourselves.
Labels we don't give ourselves. But I think I'm proud of the fact that young people in this country have realized that there's a problem, and
we're telling you to fix it.
We're telling people to fix it.
Yeah. If not, we'll do things by ourselves.
It's crazy how we've been made into freedom fighters. And
No, I think it's for me. I'm proud. First of all, let me just say that I'm proud, and it's when people say some people are paid to go out there for. I say no. I have children in high school. I have actually 3 guys in high school. And they were so proud. When they came for halftime, I mean, they were saying, Dad, we need to get into this
exactly.
thing. And I saw one, we never realized along the way, there's a generation that is tribeless. They don't work on tribal lines.
No, not at all.
They don't work on, I saw even Indians, Kenyan Indians. I saw people, you begin to see surely, I think we've been sending a wrong narrative. Meanwhile, something new has been born over the years. These guys don't care about your tribe.
No, they don't.
I mean, when you look at the people, in fact, somebody's tribe maybe because of a name.
Exactly. But it's not a factor. I feel
it's not a factor because right now people have intermarried enough.
Exactly.
If you use a name, you'll be amazed.
Exactly.
I think one thing we also need to realize is even historically, for us to get independence, when the Kenya Land and Freedom Army or the Mau Mau were fighting, they were also not tribeless.
Yes.
You need to realize that when there was a workers' movement, it was being led by Indians such as Piogama Pinto and other Indians around him, Sikhs around him. When you look at even the lawyers who were there, there's Aguin's Kodek Road that has been named after a lawyer. Our liberation as a country came because we were not tribeless. We believed and understood that everybody had a role to play. And that's what we're doing right now as Gen Zs. We know whether you're Kalenjin, Kikuyu, Kamba, whatever, as long as you have skills and you understand what's happening, you have a role to play. So when we say we are tribeless, it's a big rebuttal against like the political class who've been using tribe over and over again. One, to kill us, to divide us, and to cause havoc. So the reality is we've realized we're not going to use that. We're not going to let them have that power over us anymore.
I was listening to a historian the other day. You are right. The liberation, especially the independence one, was tribeless. But then they looked for these people sit and scheme.
It's a narrative.
And they said, okay, how can we break this this unity? How can we destroy it? And they said, bring tribe.
Yeah, definitely. It's a divide.
So do you
and
think
rule
this
tactic.
will penetrate this time?
They're trying.
They're trying to divide us. They're trying to, just like we said a bit earlier, to divide us, to label us this. Some people are saying, look, these are guys who come for protests in Ubers.
With iPhones.
With iPhones, and then we
KFC.
alafu tunaenda KFC. So we're seeing already these sorts of divisions. Politics is about division. Like you have to have two strong, opposing points of view, but leadership brings together. So what we have in this country is, I believe, a lack of good leadership. We need to see leaders, leading from the front. And when it comes to, issues such as how we mobilize for in preparation for elections. We can't be mobilizing people on tribal lines. We need to mobilize people. It needs to be issue-based politics, and that's why I'm really proud of the faceless, the tribeless, and tribeless movement. And it just calls for accountability and integrity. We need leaders who have integrity. We need leaders who will mobilize people across with actual issues.
I mean, it's like also Nairobi is a melting pot of different cultures, whether it's local cultures but also internationally. We have a very big international community here. So like having issue-based politics is what will help all of us, you know? So there's a shift, and that's what the protests have done.
Exactly.
Let me throw a spanner. Yeah. What will keep your unity? In the Gen Z unity?
Yeah.
What will keep it? Because we come from a background, and you know it. If not tribe,
Yeah.
money will be used.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Money may be used.
Yeah.
If not money, propaganda. And you know, I think Kenya is good at propaganda.
Very good at propaganda.
So what will keep this, or for how long? Because I think it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Right now it's just a matter of time,
Time,
because you
that's
see
true.
the challenge is you know, when you meet someone, and it's very disheartening. You meet someone who's had, you know, you have this master's degree.
Yeah.
You have these skills.
Yes.
You don't have a job. You are just, you know, surviving out here, you know, and you know, there's a place where it comes and you say,
Yeah.
bad is bad.
Come on, Nimbaya. I think just on
If it's bad is bad, and then you know, somebody tosses to you to even 10 or 20 M.
yeah.
You see that guy will change.
He will change 100%.
Because
I agree.
if he has skills to set up a business, he has found an opportunity.
Yeah.
He has skills, you know, he wants his life. I mean, nobody wants to live a life of struggle. So how long is the question?
Yeah, I think what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is the fact that, you know, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yes.
And people, if you know, you expose people to a certain kind of media, you know, we've mobilized hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on just, you know, championing this cause. So I think one thing that would keep people together, the fact that, you know, we're a generation that really wants to see change. Just having directed campaigns, media campaigns on social media. It doesn't have to even be, it doesn't have to necessarily, obviously, like at some point you really need to go on TV and radio. I feel like we need to mobilize people across these social media channels. But I feel like if we, you know, just keep up the momentum going, do civic education via, you know, Twitter, do civic education via, and mobilize people in a certain course through the resources that we have available to us, you know, that would keep people online, and that would keep people, you know, keeping that mission and saying, look, we've started now. It's just the beginning. I feel like the next time, if we don't see change, this thing is not even going to get bigger.
I think also we need to realize that as long as the political class is doing what they're doing to us, that is the only unity we need. Because right now, what's unifying all of us is the fact that we are jobless, we are skillless, we have no opportunities in this country. The biggest rhetoric has been, you're taxing us to death, we don't even have jobs, you don't see anything,
Exactly.
we don't see anything. As long as that is there, I feel like we will stay unified. However, there is a big role that needs to be played by various institutions on civic education, as you were saying. And that's something we've been doing. You said that Kenya is very good at propaganda. Man, have I seen them trying to propaganda this thing. And the rebuttals and the information that's the way people are fighting against our propaganda on social media is very keen.
Let me show you something, how propaganda evolved. You remember in the last election, not this election, you know, the previous government. Those 10 years.
2013.
They made a lot of involvement because it gave an opportunity for young people who had the tech skills and you know, and online skills. They got a chance to enter into money through political propaganda. In fact, most of those guys who ran those propagandas were actually young people.
100%.
For those 10 years. And they really did a good job.
They did.
Now, they have tasted money. And government money is cocaine. You know? It's addictive. You know, sorry for saying that on TV. But you can imagine, it's and that's what I'm telling you, because you think these guys are asleep.
No, they're not. We don't think they're asleep. Nobody has said that.
Both sides are not asleep.
Both
sides are not asleep. Because I like, you know, yesterday I saw another change, you know, there's another flip, right? There's 7 days of name and shame already out. But then, if you begin to go into the spaces, who is running the spaces? Right? You begin to notice who is running the spaces. You begin to notice these are personalities who are coming from.
It depends.
I was in a space. I've been in several spaces. It's some media personalities. I've noted keenly because I really look through. And let me tell you, media has agenda.
It does have
100%,
agenda.
yeah.
It does. It
Ma-
does.
media runs agenda. You, as much as they will tell you what they want to tell you,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, is
Yeah,
an
it's
agenda.
agenda.
So what my question still remains: how long?
How long?
That's the thing. It is true. It is a matter of time. But one thing we also need to realize is you're dealing with a generation that's very keen on finding justice and integrity.
Oh yeah.
We are a generation who we left church because we know the church is lying to us. We are a generation who have said we will not listen to our parents because what they preach and what they say is completely, what they do and what they say is completely different. Another thing I'll say about what you said about money being addictive, I'll give an example of, Dennis Ombachi, the roaming chef, the rugby player. There was a conversation that came out about influencers being given money by the government and some of them declining, others accepting.
Yeah.
And Ombachi gave this example of, for him, he's rejected very heavy bags from betting companies because of his own values. And that's something I feel like we always forget about movements is in Christianity we always say there's a remnant. There are people who still have those values, who still have that integrity, who will still uphold the right things. Those people are still there, whether they'll be killed, whether they'll be silenced, whether they'll be kidnapped, but they will always come back. So yes, it's true, there's two factions that are warring.
Yeah.
There's the people in charge, who's the government, and they will retaliate, and they have the resources to do that. And there's also now the people who want what is true. So reality is, I don't think we'll protest for 6-9 months. That's not, one, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Two, people will die. But we do have a role to play as young people. One, to educate ourselves and to also hold the older generation accountable, especially institutions that we know that have the resources to back us and have those values that we are seeking, which is justice, integrity, and accountability.
And those are clear.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to ask you guys, voters cards. Stats show Gen Zs never voted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yet again, they're the biggest block we have right now. I think for me, if we mobilize their votes, I tell you what, they can put anyone in power, remove anyone from
That's
power.
true.
Exactly.
And so I think for me, that should be the next frontier.
It should be the next
which is
frontier.
civic education.
Civic
It's not just
education.
voters cards. Something I always argue with my parents and and their generation is, your generation has a way of looking at active citizenship as just voting. But in reality, it's not. What we're doing out there, protesting and going to parliament and saying we're going to recall MPs, that is active citizenship.
Yeah.
It's not just voting.
Exactly.
So when you do civic education and you understand the constitution that was fought for with blood, sweat and tears and the lives of people, is when now you'll know how to participate as an active citizen. And I do agree, voting is a very big thing that we as young people, like the last election I was 22 years old. I did vote, but it's also because I was looking at the leaders and I'm just like, this one votia nani.
And you're not alone, by the way. Everybody
there are
was
many
at that place of,
It's apathy,
apathy but I think, let me tell you what, I give it up for the active citizen, the one who knows, and that's going to be the way forward now.
It has to be.
It is going to be the way forward. So what are you going to do? If you don't do, this is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And clear. And I think that's the right way to go.
It's the right way to go.
Can we shift this to leadership in terms of now the leadership of the Gen Z, or we can even call it youth? How are we building their leadership? Because at the end of the day, I mean, when you study, I mean, you went to school and you understand some things. Government does not engage individuals. It never works all over the world. Government works with societies. Works with. That's why we find civil societies. Now they can engage government. Religious institutions can engage government. Bodies or what you call movements like labor movements, they can engage government, and that's why actually they form, because naturally government is formed that way, that they don't deal with individuals. This thing has been headless, has not had somebody who has showed up.
Exactly.
Don't you think if something doesn't happen, fake leaders are rising, and already they are there?
Yes, and they've been rebutted.
Oh my.
There's been so many.
There's so many people coming up and saying, look, I'm speaking on behalf of Gen Zs.
First of all, who appointed
them? And the danger right now with figures like that is they're probably going to push for selfish interest. They're going to push for selfish interest, and we need and I feel like the success that we've had is that it's that this movement has been organic. People are mobilizing, and coming out on the streets because they believe that there are injustices, that, you know, something has to give in the country. I feel like for now, it can remain leaderless. We can push our agenda and mobilize via social media and all of these channels, but at some point, there definitely needs to be, just like you're saying, government engages with actual bodies. There would be need for a body to come up and say, look, we're registering people that, you know, have...
Friend, you are late.
No, we are not late.
Society is kule. You're late. Society is kule, majina ishafika.
But that's the thing I usually say. In Kenya, the way politics has been led has always been there's one leader. If you look at the opposition, the leader has been Raila Odinga for the longest time. The thing is, you guys are still stuck on that thing. There has to be a leader. There has to be a leader. But this is an opportunity for you to imagine something different. And that's why I like what you were saying is we need a body. Right now, we are seeing what LSK is doing. We are seeing what medics are doing. We are seeing what organizing capacity people are doing, such people like Hanifa and all of that. Because it's an organic movement, eventually organic leaders come out. Yes, civil society will go out there and do whatever they want to do. But it's so easy for us to see the selfish interests of people. And for the government to want to continue engaging a single leader or someone, one is the issue why we're in this situation as a country. One person can't be the only one who's a whistleblower.
Exactly.
We can't be the only, you can't only have one accountability mechanism. So right now, the way things are going is, yes, we don't have a leader, and a lot of the older generation are seeing that as an issue. Me personally, I don't see it as an issue. What I see is groups of people are organizing and creating accountability mechanisms when the ones that have already been set up are failing. So organically, leaders will come out of those organizations. And again, I'll refer back to history. When you look at the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, they didn't have a leader for the longest time. And that struggle took 30 to 40 years. But in the civil society, in the labor movement, there was Piogama Pinto. In the lawyers, there was Aguns Kodek. In obviously the guerrilla and fighting, there was Dedan Kimathi. They all came out as a result of the work that they're doing. So I know everybody's just scared, and for a fact, people will come and want to hijack everything that's going on. But the reality is, because this thing was organic and it came from the heart, haitakufa tu hivyo haraka. Unless, I don't know, the president decides to kill all 55 million of us.
My view sometimes, I think. I think, first of all, you know, we come from a generation of self-interest. People who just, what can I do? And that's what actually drove the bill. You remember, people giving, you know, you take 2 million for the destruction of all these millions. You know, is what can I gain? What can I do?
Exactly.
And you know, right now, that's what's going on behind the scenes. What can I gain from this group? How can I come in? How can everybody is sleeping. In fact, there's no sleep now. There's no sleep. Guys are just looking for, you know,
for ways
how can they gain and take advantage of this. And for me, I think as organic as it is, and as it continues to become more and more, there's going to be need for very, 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 for lack of a better word, hawkeyes to keep that kind of people at bay.
That's true.
Yeah, and the constitution that we have right now is very progressive, but I feel like some of the issues that we're facing right now are due to the provisions that are in that constitution. You know, if someone is indicted in a corruption case, and you know, they pay bail of 200, 300,000, and they're scot-free, I mean, something has to change. I'm actually a big proponent of, as much as we're mobilizing and we're saying, you know, the historical injustices that need to be solved, I think the solution lies in the law and in possibly, you know, pushing for a referendum. I'm really of that opinion. That look, when you, if you're, because I feel like the elephant in the room is misappropriation of funds.
It's true. I agree with you.
It's misappropriation of funds. If last year, obviously the 2023 finance bill was extremely contentious, and in fact
people rejected it.
And people rejected it.
They went for public participation.
And the targets that we had was 65. Actually, out of the money that we targeted to raise, we only raised 65%. So why are you going now and saying, look,
you add another one.
You add another finance bill. you're going to try and raise an extra 364 billion. Yet,
you didn't even meet the targets for last time.
You didn't meet the targets for last time. I feel like it's misplaced priorities. We missed the targets.
It's tradition. Actually, I think it's government tradition.
It's government
because
tradition.
every July they have to. You know, it's common. Like it's just like the salaries that come up.
It's terrible.
In government July, they always add
they
salaries.
Always give raises.
And so I think it's. I like your idea. We are so stuck on that. Is there another way? Is there another way? Let me ask you, Wacera. There's something also we need to. Does this mean there's going to be a rebirth or what we're calling social movements?
Oh yes, 100%. One thing we also need to realize is this didn't just happen in Asylum. I remember like 2 weeks before the protest, I was in town at Palace Supreme Court, and there was just a group of people from the social justice working movement group, and they were protesting against Sakaja, the governor of Nairobi.
Oh yeah.
So me, funny thing is when I sit down and I look at how the finance bill protests have come out, I'm like, that already happened without people knowing what was going on. Kauli kwa town at that time, you would have seen. But if you were not there, you didn't know what was going on. Media coverage was minimal. So, yes, it is a rebirth of social movements. There's community centers and social justice centers across the country. There is a need and a hunger to be involved in something bigger than just yourself, especially amongst us youth.
Let me ask you, because we're going to go for a break. The leadership of social movements in Kenya for a while, we've seen it. They are vocal, then all of a sudden, they swap to politics. We've seen that. It's been a trend.
It's been a trend.
Your take on that?
My take on that is, it's true, it has been a trend. And it's really sad to see people who you once looked up to turn into the enemy that you are fighting, which is a reality. But then we also need to understand one person alone cannot be fighting this monster that we have. It has to be a collective. That is why it's a social movement. So you need to have, when that one person is taken, there needs to be 10 other people like that person, if not 20.
And I think we need to change that narrative, where we all look at one person.
And that's
so is our fighter.
Exactly, and that's why we were saying we don't need one leader.
We don't need one leader.
Because it's unsustainable and it's harmful. You want to tell me for the 65 years this country has existed, 60-something years, for a good half of that life, Raila Odinga was the only opposition person?
Nah.
Surely. In a country of 55 million people?
No.
You don't say that loudly. And that's a problem. So if we don't mill around an individual, we get into trouble. We're going to go into a break. We're already on a break time. And as we come back, we're going to look at leadership and social movements. Well, you have your take now. You send in your views, send in your question. We're here. Nina will answer, Wacera will answer them.
Awesome.
See you after the break.